I hope you guys are having a good day. I am Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. And I'm not just a finance professor who happens to be Black. I'm a Black man who happens to be a finance professor. I hope you guys are having a good day today. I know I am. I know that every day is a good day. If you wake up and you're still breathing, then you know you're 50 steps ahead if you're a Black man. Let me just say this. Let's start here. I'm still in Guyana, as you know. I've had the distinct pleasure of being around pretty much nothing but Black people for quite a few months, and it's really nice. You ought to try it if you haven't done it yet. You should certainly visit Guyana, number one. I'll tell you what, the students that I have seen in Guyana have been more impressive than almost any of the students I've seen in the United States. Even though they're working with, you know, a tenth of the resources, they don't have all the luxuries that we have, but they also don't have the oppression that we have. And one of the things that we still need to learn about oppression is that oppression causes you to see something that's valuable and to think that it's cheap. You know, a person who has confidence, self-belief, who sees value in themselves doesn't need, doesn't need anybody to tell them that they're worthy. They just kind of know it. You know, it reminds me of when Magic Johnson, when they kicked him off the Olympic basketball team, when he first found out he had AIDS and everything, or HIV. You know, he said, I don't really need the Olympic Committee to tell me that I'm a good basketball player. He already knows that he's a good basketball player. And I agree with him on that. I thought that was a great statement. And I learned a lot from that. Now, do me a favor as we get started. Let's do a quick city shout out. A lot of, I like to know what city everybody's chiming in from. So before we get started on Intellectual Chocolate, tell me what cities you're coming. If I see Cynthia's here and Vladimir and Tyrell and Kyle and Michael Powell. What's going on, Michael from Silver Spring? What's happening, brother? Sonia, Art, Arthur, Jamar, Precious. These are like the most amazing Black names, right? I love it. Patrice, that's my daughter's name. Benjamin, all about the Benjamins. Okay, Shantae from Seattle. Patrice, again, I love that name. It's my daughter's name, from Gainesville, Florida. Tammy from Orlando. Shantae is out of Tampa. Curtis says, please explain why. Darlene says, Washington, D.C. Curtis, I will explain why in a minute. I think that this was an important topic to kind of discuss, only because I like to discuss whatever's going on with Black people. And I see Arlington and Detroit and Atlanta. And what are some other cities I see in here? I see a whole lot of cities. So one of the things I also want you guys to know, in case you don't know, is a lot of people think that you have to spend money to be a part of the Black Business School and to learn financial literacy, and that is not true. You can actually get started at theblackbusinessschool.com for free. So if you want to get started and put your family on the pathway to get started on your wealth building journey, I'll type the URL in. Just go to theblackbusinessschool.com and you can join for free, and you don't have to pay money, just pay attention. If you pay attention, then we will take good care of you. We have world-leading experts in this school, and we're very, very proud of what we have. We just recruited Dr. Venetia Dutra, who is one of the few Black women on the earth who has a PhD in finance, a legitimate, hardcore gangster doctorate in finance. She was a tenured professor at the University of Denver, and she said, I want to come teach my people. I said, we got a place for you. Come on in. We got Lamar Tyler and John Gossier, arguably two of the leading Black crypto experts on the planet. John has been recognized by CNN as one of the top 25 technology influencers on the planet. He has started many, many businesses in Africa. He's agreed to participate. Warren Ballantyne, y'all know Warren. He's an attorney. He's a nationally syndicated radio show host. He's also going to come in and do Q&As with our students. Attorney Tanya Nebo, Dr. Tyra Selden, all kinds of people. So feel free to go to theblackbusinessschool.com. Somebody type that in so other people can see it, and I'm going to type it in. I'm going to try to type it in on Twitter, but actually I can't type it in. For some reason, it's not going to pop in. Now, somebody's asking, am I going to talk about Bitcoin today? I'll chime in just a little bit, but I wanted to kind of hit this thing. A lot of people are asking me about this Umar Johnson thing. So rather than skirting the issue, you know me, I don't dodge a topic, and I know that some people would probably be annoyed that I would even talk about anything like that, but my goal is to be honest, and I'm not afraid to talk about anything. So I want to kind of give some perspective on that. But with the Bitcoin thing, if you are invested in Bitcoin or crypto, you probably noticed that there's been a big, steep price decline. Last time I checked, let me check Coinbase. I'm gonna check Coinbase. According to Coinbase, the price of Bitcoin is now down to 12,933, so it's dropped below the $13,000 mark. Last week it was as high as 19,000. It's really dropping, and is it going to continue to drop? Nobody knows. Ethereum's down, Litecoin's down, and that's one of the things I've been telling you guys about in the beginning. If you really want to understand investing philosophy, investing is not for fly-by-night people. Investing is not for the faint of heart. Investing is not for people who can only appreciate the good times and can't work through the bad. It's like marriage. If you marry somebody, you marry them for richer, for poorer, through sickness and in health, till death do you part. Now some people get it wrong because they think, well, I'm going to be married to you not until death do us part, but until I get bored. And when I get bored, that means I'm not happy anymore. And when I'm unhappy, that means I should get a divorce. Well, shit, if you're going to get a divorce when you get unhappy, then don't get married. That's like saying I want to train for the Olympics, and the day that I have a tough practice day, I'm going to quit. Well, you're not really serious. You're not really trying to be an Olympic athlete. Or it's like saying I want to be a medical doctor, but I'm going to go to school and when I'm not having fun anymore, or when it gets too difficult, I'm going to quit. Well, then don't become a doctor. Don't do it. Don't get married if you're going to get a divorce, if it gets hard, because it's going to get hard. It's going to become impossible. And so ultimately, if you're married to the invested life, there was a show I was a part of a few years ago on CNBC called The Invested Life. And the thing about going into the invested life and living your life as a financially free Black man or Black woman, where you're really trying to become an owner and a builder and an investor, is that it's a lifestyle that you choose. It's a culture. It's a commitment to the idea that you're going to be free. You're going to make certain money moves that are going to be very consistent. If it's sunny outside, you're going to be consistent. If it's raining outside, you're going to be consistent. If there's rain, sleet, snow, or hail coming down to the ground, you're going to be consistent. It does not matter. When there's a drought season hits, you're going to be consistent. That's how you become an investor. That's how you become an owner. Any entrepreneur can tell you that there are times where things really suck, where you don't have enough money to do what you want to do, and you feel like you're making a big mistake. You don't know what the next move is supposed to be, or you made a huge error in your company. But the difference between successful people and other people is that successful people just kind of remain consistent and keep going. So if you ask me, well, how am I, Dr. Boyce, with the decline in Bitcoin, how are you adjusting your investment strategy? I'm like, well, I'm not adjusting anything, because my strategy is not contingent upon whether Bitcoin went down today or went up today. My strategy is consistent. I believe in crypto. I believe in blockchain. I believe in the industry. I diversify. Y'all have heard me use the word diversification 10 million times, because diversification is what protects you from the plummets. You see, and in fact, if you look at investing history, people like Warren Buffett, they don't make their money when it's bright and sunny. They make their money when it's raining. Warren Buffett says when there's blood in the streets, that's when the riches are being built. Warren Buffett says, and other great investors say that you want to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. So at the end of the day, how am I reacting to this crypto price change? I mean, I'm paying attention to it because I talk to my students about it in the Black Stock Market program, but I'm not gonna suddenly run for the hills. In fact, historically, if you ran for the hills every time the stock market crashed, then you would have lost all your money, because you'd be selling right when the price of the asset was the cheapest. And a lot of Black people did that during the 2007 market crash. Who was it? The brother, I forgot his name, the billionaire brother in Chicago, John something. I can't remember his last name. He wrote a great article where he said Black people lost probably $1 trillion because when the stock market crashed in 2007, everybody ran for the hills and nobody came back in. And they didn't understand that what other people were doing was they were actually going deeper. And when the market recovered, they made a lot of money. Now, the challenge with crypto, let's lay this out there too. This is important to know. The challenge with cryptocurrency is that it's a new asset class. It's like a doctor trying to examine an alien's body. He doesn't know exactly how it operates. right? So the same way I could say historically with the stock market, what went down usually came back up. The crashes are not what you should fear. It's when you crash down to nothing. The market has crashed. The market has been injured, but it has never died. The death is what you fear, not the injury. The injury actually makes the market stronger. It creates more buying opportunity. So right now we know for a fact that crypto is injured. The question is it going to die? And so in order to protect myself, here are a few precautions I took from the very beginning. Number one, I didn't put all my money in crypto. I put maybe 10% of my total portfolio in crypto. Bitcoin did not become my financial Jesus. I put money in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this other stuff, but I also have money in stocks and bonds and in other areas, my businesses, everything. Second thing is, within crypto, I wasn't just trying to get on the Bitcoin train. I wanted to know about all the other great coins that are out there, all the other great industries. I read a whole book about blockchain technology to understand what I was invested in. So that's what led me to invest in about 30 different cryptos. And so what happened was, I look over here and I see that Bitcoin's crashing. But then over here, I'm just like, oh, wait, Ripple shot up this week. Oh, wait, something else shot up. Gollum shot up. Whatever it was, this other coin shot up. So literally, actually, when you balanced it out, yeah, did I take a bath on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yeah, I did. I lost some of the gains that we picked up earlier, but I was making money on the other side. That's why you diversify. You never put all your eggs in one basket. So just remember, though, when you're talking about trying to get into the invested life, and you want to be gangster enough to be an investor, just like joining a gang. If you in it for life, and it ain't always gonna be easy. And so like New Edition used to say, like sunny, remember they used to say sunny days, everybody loves them, but tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? That's what tests you. So right now, every crypto investor is being tested. There are the fly-by-nights, and then there are what they call the hodls, HODL, hold on for dear lifers. The people that are long-term are the ones that are gonna just be consistent. The fly-by-nighters are running, right? And that's what's going on in crypto. That's my analysis. We're going to do another conversation about it a little bit later. I got a couple of crypto experts I'm actually bringing into the podcast, and we're going to hit that topic again in more detail and talk to some experts and let you hear from them. If you also want to get archived information on all this conversations we've been having on crypto, we have some of the best experts on the planet. Go to bitcoin.theblackbusinessschool.com. That's bitcoin.theblackbusinessschool.com. What's up, Andre Hatchett? My man, brilliant black man. Cynthia's asking what's the name of the book. There are like a ton of books out there. I forgot. I think it was like The Ultimate Guide to Bitcoin. And it was actually a pretty good book. Let me see if I can find the title. I can actually give you the title now. Actually, while I do that, do me a favor and hit the like button, share button, subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe. And somebody type in bitcoin.theblackbusinessschool.com while I look up this book title. I'm trying to see if I can find it. If you want to have a lot of good books, handy, get a Kindle and use the Kindle, because that's a great way to carry around 1 million books without having to, carry around 1,000 pounds of shit. Yeah, it says Bitcoin, the complete guide to Bitcoin. Wait, man, understand everything. It's going off the screen. It says understand everything from blockchain to blah, 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 blah. So it says complete guide to Bitcoin. So just look up Bitcoin on your Kindle and you'll find it that way. All right, so now with that said, let's hop into the topic at hand. I know you guys want to talk about this. I just wanted to answer that Bitcoin crypto question because I want to make sure, again, just for the sake of me letting you know I don't really like to dodge issues. I'd rather talk about them because I think my goal at the end of the day is to be honest and fair. And whether it's, talking about crypto or Umar or anything else, I think that the sign of a grown-ass man is that you can focus on facts and be balanced without things sort of being personal at all. Now, you guys know, Umar, some of you may know, Umar, for whatever reason, Umar doesn't see eye to eye with me. Umar hasn't ever really wanted to be buddies with me. And I forgive him for that. There's no hard feelings coming from me on any level. I would take a call from him at any time. But one of the things that I saw today that I think is worth talking about, because everybody was bringing it to my table, is that Umar put up a post today, basically seeming to it seems that he was saying that he's having some trouble right now. I wouldn't say in some trouble because I don't know how deep it is, but he's having some trouble with the state board of psychologists, I guess. I'm going to share my screen and let you guys kind of see and sort of see what he just posted. and I'll read it to you if you're watching on Twitter or anywhere else and you can't see it. He says, sometimes I ask myself, why did I start this campaign? I'm ready to return all the donations and move to Africa. In an effort to give our boys a school they deserve, I've had countless coons consistently harass white people in the power structure until they've decided to strip me of my credentials, arrest my fund. So he used the word arrest, and I kind of froze up a little bit, but now he's saying like basically froze his assets and audit me. Hundreds of phone calls to my degree granting institutions harassing them about my credentials, the same questions over and over again on every radio show, countless social network jokes and campaigns to diminish the credibility of the one black man parents can count on to assist for free with saving their children from the mental health and miseducation systems. This is the thanks I get for helping to save a generation of black boys. On top of all the betrayals I've had, my own father join in on the fun. This Kwanzaa tour will be my farewell conscious community tour for a while. I'm taking a break from social network as well. I need to take care of me now. I will keep pushing for the school until my detractors successfully kill that campaign also. Whether we succeed or fail, just know that my intentions were honorable and I tried my best. This is another victory for the mentally enslaved. That's pretty heavy. That's pretty intense. I felt kind of bad. He sounds kind of deflated, maybe a little defeated. I get this sense, I met Umar in person once, actually twice. And both of the times I met him, I thought everything was great. I met him at a speech I gave in Boston over mass incarceration. And right before that, Umar was on a panel with this white guy from the government who claimed that it's a whole myth that the CIA brought drugs into the black community. And the first thing I said in my speech, which was right after, and Umar was in the audience, I said, I want to congratulate Umar Johnson. First thing I said, I want to say hello to Umar Johnson. It's great to meet you, brother. I said, from all the great things I've heard about you, I thought you would be 20 feet tall. And I said, also, I want to congratulate him for having the patience of not jumping across the desk and punching out the guy who said that it's a myth that the CIA dropped drugs into the black community. And it was kind of funny because the guy was right there in the front row and I didn't see him, the white guy, but I was like, well, you said that stupid shit, so I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable right now, but that's ridiculous. And then we took a picture together, and then I saw him again in Ohio, and I had just given a speech. He came in and he sat down next to me. I got his phone number. He went up on the speech podium and spoke for a few minutes. And I expected we would kind of talk and establish a relationship, and everybody was really excited that we were both there, and I was too. And I was hopeful that there could be some building off of that, right? So I think that what might have happened is I think I asked a question on my page. I said, where did Umar Johnson go to school? And I didn't know at the time that it was a controversy, that a lot of people were questioning his degree, his credentials, and I think he took that question as me hating on him. Now, here's the thing. I'll tell you the truth. If you were to say, where did Dr. Boyce Watkins go to school? I would say Ohio State University. Like, it wouldn't be a shock to my system. It wouldn't make me feel threatened. It wouldn't make me feel like you were a hater. You can go read my dissertation. It's actually available online. Some of the people in here have actually said that they've read my dissertation. You can go see the journals I published and like all of that. So I didn't know that it was a touchy issue. And so I think that that's what led him to feel like I was some sort of enemy. Now, through time, I will say that the challenge for Umar has been that, I think it's important to be emotional enough to, say very bold things on behalf of the community. I really believe that deep down, Umar really loves black people. I have always felt that way. And in fact, when I first met him, I said, I think he could be the new Malcolm X. I literally said that. You go look down my Facebook archives and find it because he was such a great speaker. He's one of the best orators I've ever seen in my life. The talent is through the roof. And that's why everybody's excited about him. The people that love him for a good reason, because he's damn good at what he does. He speaks to people, he inspires them. I think that he deserves all the respect he gets from that. And I think that if I was his, if we were buddies and I was sitting there giving him advice, I would pretty much kind of help him understand that there's something that's happening inside of you that is making you into your own worst enemy. There's something that's happening where you're shooting yourself in the foot, where when you're doing these great things and then something crazy will happen where it undermines everything else you've accomplished, right? And I understand this not because I can just observe it and see it, but also because I've done it myself. There are people that probably, would love what I do if I didn't say things that sometimes were politically incorrect or offensive. Now, sometimes I just say, well, you know what, I'll just take the punch. I don't care. I got to make this point, and I'm not going to apologize. But then sometimes I'll say, Boyce, now, was that necessary? You were emotional. You were pissed off at so-and-so. Did you really have to go on, on YouTube and talk about it? Right? It's, my manager, Michelle, does that to me. My manager, Michelle, will say, now, Boyce, you didn't need to say that stupid shit just now. Like what benefit is there for you to say that, about this person at this moment, right? And so basically, I understand it because I've done it, right? And so, when I'm reading this email or this note he puts on the Facebook page, I think that what could be kind of critiqued a little is, this idea that, that it seems that there's like a little bit of narcissism in there. There's a little bit of Donald Trump-ish, LeVar Ball sometimes has this a little bit. And these are guys that, Trump, everybody hates Trump for whatever reason. I don't like him. I don't care much about him. LeVar Ball, I like him, but I have to overlook the narcissism and what looks like arrogance. With Umar, it was kind of the same thing. Like, when he says, sometimes I ask myself, why did I start this campaign? Well, you started the campaign because you're going to love black people, despite the fact that it's not easy to love black people. Louis Farrakhan says all the time, he says, black people, y'all are a hard people to love. And I'm going to tell you what, I've been royally fucked on a few different occasions in the past, recently. I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about in the past year. And in those situations where I got screwed, it was by another black person. So there's always going to be treachery. There's always going to be distrust. There's always going to be deceit. There's always going to be, all kinds of chaos and manipulation. I lost $30,000 about a year and a half ago to a filmmaker named Tony out in California. He was a black man. And I trusted this man. It hurt my heart that this black man would steal from me like that. But it didn't mean that I would sort of say, oh, you pathetic, shitty ass black people, you're the reason why I'm gonna stop talking about financial literacy because you black people, like y'all not, y'all are bad and y'all manipulative and y'all hurt the people that are trying to help you. We know that that's what happens. I mean, you're dealing with a people, and Umar knows this better than anybody. You're dealing with a group of people who have been traumatized and re-traumatized and re-traumatized for the last 400 years. Dr. Cleo Monaglo talks about it, but everybody talks. Farrakhan talks, with Claude Anderson, everybody talks about it. So it ain't about us, and I think that one of the things about sort of being an influencer in the black community is that you have to be able to find some way to have enough self-actualization that you can realize that it's not about you. You can't take it personally. And you can't use that power as an opportunity to inflate your ego at every turn, because your ego will eventually get bruised. People will eventually try to take you down, and you won't be able to internally generate the spiritual energy to keep going when you got all these black people that are trying to fuck you sideways. When I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm out here trying to do the best I can. I got people that want to beat me up, people that want, they want to kill me, people that hate my guts. And I don't even know why. I mean, there's nothing worse than to have somebody you've never met who's literally been sitting around thinking every day about how much they hate you. That is the weirdest thing in the world. And what keeps me going actually is more of a spiritual thing. It's like I began to see the work as almost like a vessel of a higher power, a vessel of God, if you will. And the power of God, the power of the universe is infinite. So by tapping into that power and seeing myself as merely a vessel of that power, I see myself as or I see what I'm doing as a machine that has an infinite amount of energy, an infinite amount of clean energy. The vessel, being a vessel of God, means that you'll never run out of energy, because all you got to do is tap back to God and know that you're simply just the container that is carrying something that is bigger than you and greater than yourself. The other thing too that helps is when you realize that you're not doing it all by yourself. You got the whole community at your back. You got all these people that want to help. You got all these black folks that want to participate. They're not following and supporting what I do because they like me. They might like some things about me, but they're following this. And I want you, and if you're not, if you're in this, not in this category, I want you to think about this. I need you to support this because you believe in Black people. I want you to support this because you said, okay, all right, this guy has an opportunity with a big platform to move us forward, but we're all going to push because a human being can die. A man can lose his mind. A man can get caught up in a scandal. Y'all don't know. Tomorrow morning, y'all might find out that I was having sex with 47 midgets in a cricket, and it totally might deflate and destroy every ounce of credibility I've ever had. But that doesn't mean that everything that we talk about, everything that I teach, everything that we go through can't continue moving forward. So I think that when he starts off using the word I, or I a lot, and I see imagery. I think I saw an image where he took a picture of Superman and put his head on the image of Superman. I became kind of concerned about that because I don't really, I kind of think, when I think about the Bill Cosby scenario, right? I feel like Bill Cosby set himself up to be destroyed because he was so cocky in the first place. Bill Cosby was a cocky motherfucker, man. That guy was such an asshole. Everybody hated him. And I said, I was thinking, it's only a matter of time before that shit catches up with him. So anyway, let me keep reading. And I'm not, this is not a diss on Umar. Like, don't take it as a diss. I know it doesn't matter how many times I say it, people are going to interpret it that way. But I want to make sure it's officially stated. Like, if you go back and listen to all the times I brought his name up, half the time I was defending him. When he went into that thing with Roland Martin, I did a whole video saying that I felt that Roland was wrong to even challenge him that way and be that petty. And, are you really related to Frederick Douglass, and how are you related? Who gives a fuck, man? Seriously. Like, really, that doesn't even really matter. And I think that when you're dealing with pettiness and you're answering these little tiny, stupid, petty questions, it's kind of like you're not doing the real work that really matters. Like, does it really make a difference? Seriously, at the end of the day, does it really make a difference to you or me if Umar is directly related to Frederick Douglass, or if he's tangentially related, maybe to his cousin or whatever? Like, I think he said he's a great descendant of his cousin Stephen and blah, blah, blah. Man, that didn't matter to me. So anyway, also the stripper scandal. That's another example. The stripper scandal, like with Umar, right? Remember when he slept with the girl that called herself the conscious stripper, and she went on the air and kind of dogged him out, and then he had to defend himself? First off, my first thought was, why are we policing what another man does with his penis? Like, first and foremost, I don't understand that. Like, are penises supposed to be used at some point? And do we have a right to determine when a person is allowed to use it? Like, well, you've been written up for using your penis in an unsanctioned facility. Like, what are you? What? Like, no. People have sex all the time. People are fucking right now. If you're one of those people, congratulations. Like, sex is cool. Sex is fine. It's fun. And I can't judge you based on when or how you're having sex. It's like that dumb Tavis Smiley stuff. Like, where Don Lemon's like, well, how many consensual relationships have you had in the office with women over the years? And Tavis did exactly what anybody would say. Tavis said, it's none of your fucking business. He didn't say it in those words. He's more diplomatic than me. But seriously, man, like, really? Like, did he ask Don, well, do you like to take it in the butt, or do you like to, are you a bottom or are you a top? Like, whatever they call them. You know what I'm talking about. You know how they have the bottoms that like to get on the bottom, and I would ask Don that. I don't want to know. I don't care. But, so I think that this whole idea of imposing our morality on other people, it's a waste of time. It's stupid. It puts everybody in a position where they gotta lie, and everybody's pretending like they don't have sex when we know everybody does, and it just kind of looks dumb. Like, so and it's immature. It's very silly for us to really get caught up in that kind of stuff when there's more important stuff for us to talk about. Now, with that said, my challenge with Umar, my critique of his approach to this was, okay, man, so, why did you in the beginning set yourself up to be, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but set yourself up for this by going around telling everybody that you were celibate, right? Like I'm never going to go and tell everyone that I'm celibate. Like, you're not going to hear that because it's not true. No, I love my woman, and I'm gonna have sex with her every chance I get, and twice on Sundays. And so, at the end of the day, it's like, why would I? Like, no, I'm not going to tell everybody that I'm celibate because, not only is it none of your damn business. Number two, I don't know how necessary it is for a single man to have to be celibate if he doesn't want to be. Number three, you're setting yourself up because you set the bar up here, and if you come short, it's going to make people give people room to criticize you. Like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods made himself look bad because he went around pretending like he was perfect, and that's pretty much why his whole career kind of took a nosedive when he got in that situation with his wife, where his wife hit him upside the head with a golf club. She should have went to prison. Only reason she didn't go to prison because, as you guys know, white women have a get out of jail free card. No one ever punishes white women for hardly anything, I imagine, I guess. And so anyway, it's like that's why she didn't go to jail. But I was remember thinking, number one, she should be going to jail. Number two, I think Tiger is really feeling the weight of the lie that he built over these years. He built a big concrete illusion that everybody believed in, that he was this perfect person, and he wasn't nearly as perfect. I mean, the man, for God's sake, the man was having sex with porn stars. Good Lord, dude. Like, that's not only a lie, but it's nasty as hell, man. Like, porn stars have sex with like hundreds of people. Like, I wouldn't even just want to shake your hand if you're fucking a porn star. Like, seriously. I mean, let's just be real. Like, that's nasty as hell, right? So, I will say this. At the end of the day, nobody had any business to ask about Umar Johnson's sex life. I felt like the woman was wrong to go and blast him in public. I think that if you are a person who who thinks it's okay to go kiss and tell, then no one should ever have sex with you ever, because you just don't do that. There has never been a woman I have ever interacted with sexually where I somehow felt the need to go public and tell everybody about what she did privately in the bedroom. Like, I would feel like such a little bitch for doing that. It would literally say more about me than it says about her, right? And so I thought that what she did was out of line. I feel like an area where Umar could have did things a little bit better was his first reaction. He called the girl a maggot. And that's not cool. You can't do that, because I think that is more of a maybe he felt threatened by her, which I don't think he should have. I think he should have, honestly, I think he should have just been honest and said, yeah, I slept with her. It didn't work out for her, and she's very disappointed, but I wish her the best. You could squash it with that. But when you come back and you call her a maggot, what you're kind of forgetting is that, you're the celebrity, you're the big fish, you're David, you're Goliath, and she's David. So, it looks like you're bullying her when you call her a maggot, and she's, doing whatever she's doing, right? So ultimately, I think that drew a lot of people, to her side, because they're like, wow, like, why would you, say that about her, right? Why are you attacking this woman in public, especially given that you are a champion for single Black moms, right? So I think that was a delicate situation, and I think that the truth of the matter, if you're really going to be honest about it, just be for real about it. What you got to admit to yourself, number one, is that if you ever heard Umar speak, you got to admit the man is very, very smart, and he's a hell of a speaker. I also will admit that Umar does love Black people, but if you're also going to be honest, you've got to say that sometimes he becomes his own worst enemy by allowing that excessive emotionality, perhaps some sort of psychological imbalance, to spill out into the public, and it comes out in the form of a little bit of what could be interpreted as narcissism. It comes out as what could be interpreted as paranoia. When he collected that money, I was a little bit concerned about the lack of transparency. I think that if you're collecting money and it's like in a donational kind of capacity, they think about it. There's a reason why I don't ask for a bunch of donations, because ultimately, if you get donations from people, that's not really your money, that's their money. So they then have the right to come back and say, what are you doing with my money? And you have to show them, right? And so I kind of think that lack of transparency when he collected the money, the fact that that people would get blocked from the Facebook page because they asked about the money, like I think that was a bit much. That's going to make people skeptical of you. That's going to make people want, especially if there's no sort of concrete proof that something is being done with the money, right? So what I think, again, if I was on his board or one of his advisors, first thing I would say is, okay, let's get 6 educators who are really, really good at what they do, half men, half women, and let's create a board that's going to be in charge of this project. We're going to allocate the money to the board, or a certain percentage of the budget to the board. You know, you'll be the chairman of this board, and the board will kind of be displayed to the public as this group that is working diligently to make sure that this project comes to fruition. But when you run it kind of like a dictatorship, where there's no transparency and nobody can ask like where the money is, then you're sort of gonna get a lot of problems from that. I remember Louis Farrakhan, once I sat with him for a few hours. He called a meeting in Arizona, and he brought in a bunch of economists, and I was one of them. And he had us. We sat in this room for 10 hours, and all we did was we made a 200-year plan for the Black community. We talked about ideas for economic expansion, opportunities for growth, everything from farming to building grocery stores to building our own schools, stuff like that. And first of all, I was impressed that the minister was there the entire time. He didn't just pop in and pop out. He literally sat with us for 10 hours in the room with us over the age of 80, which was fascinating because I started getting sleepy about 2:30 in the afternoon when I need my nap. But he literally was just Iron Man. He made it through the whole meeting. But then secondly, I remember we brought up the importance of being extremely careful when you collect other people's money. And I spoke my piece, and he patiently heard what I had to say. But then he went back and talked about, after the Million Man March, how they got an outside accounting firm to go through and manage every money and account for every single penny, and how important that is, right? For just trust and maintaining the trust that comes with transparency. The reason that people buy into Bitcoin and the blockchain and that whole network is because it's really just a trust factory, right? People don't trust banks, they don't trust governments, they don't trust intermediaries that have no transparency, they don't trust the dictatorships because they do dirty things behind closed doors. But they trust the blockchain because the information is distributed widely, and there's sort of this triple and quadruple validation to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. So trust is really important in that area, and I think that there was an environment created where the lack of transparency created some distrust, and he kind of had to answer to that. You know, now Maria Lloyd, who used to work for me, she when I let her use my YouTube channel, and I don't wish I hadn't let her use it. I'm glad she, because I think the voices of women are very important, but I wish I kind of gotten the ability to give the green light on the topics that will be discussed, because she kind of did something that really kind of upset me. She went on the page and she really kind of attacked Umar over this money thing and the school thing, and I stood by her right to have a voice, but I knew that Umar was going to think that I was the person who told her to say all of this. And I think, honestly, those of us in the conscious community, and I am a part of that community, the conscious community supports me more than anybody else. When I say, let's go build a school, they're the first ones to say, let's do it. When I say, let's go start a business, they're the first ones to say, I'll do it. The bougie Negroes who got the good jobs, they're like, I would do it, but I got to go to work, or I would do it, but I spent all my money on some red bottoms, or I would do it, but I don't really think Black people can do anything on our own. So I can't really motivate and mobilize the bougie Negroes as much as the conscious community, because they're ready to go. So one of the things I think the conscious community, what we need to really kind of come to terms with is, we're a bunch of sexist assholes sometimes. Like, there are times where we just really show a tremendous amount of disrespect to women and their voices. I was really kind of surprised that there were people who lashed out at Maria almost as if they're like, oh, boys put you up to this, almost like a woman can't independently generate her own thought. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know she was doing the video. Now, if you want to be critical, you can criticize me for having a lack of oversight on what was going on my channel, and that got changed real quick. Now I'm very cautious about it. But you can't sort of say, well, this woman only made these intelligent remarks because a man put her up to it. You got to think about that. That's really screwed up thinking. So, I did tell Maria, I was like, why are you going to go pick a fight with Umar? The dude don't even like me. And but at the same time, that video had a lot of elements of truth to it. And again, another strategic error I think Umar made was, again, I'm a man, like you keep poking at me, eventually I'm going to respond, right? So if it's necessary, if it's appropriate, I've even changed since then. So even now I probably wouldn't respond as readily as I would. But at that time, he kind of kept poking and saying these disrespectful things about me. And I'm kind of like, man, I didn't say anything about you. Like, why are you doing this? And then I came back and I spoke my piece. and my emotions came out. So again, remember, if I critique Umar for letting his emotions spill out on video, I'm really critiquing myself, because I made a video and I was a little mad when I made it. And you really you shouldn't speak publicly when you're that fired up. Like, you got to make sure your energy is always in a positive direction. My manager now, Michelle, probably wouldn't have let me make this video, but it's out there. I did it, whatever. So the video gets 300,000 or 400,000 views. And what happens then is that other people start questioning. They start challenging Umar. They start writing articles and saying, well, where did Umar really get his PhD? And what is Umar really doing with the money? And the thing is, it creates this like snowballing thing, right? Where everybody's starting to ask hard questions. Now, again, if everything's good and everything's straight up, then the questions shouldn't bother you. You should gladly answer them to clear up any sorts of doubts or uncertainty. But when you start behaving like you're a hater because you asked me a question, well, then that makes people say, well, let me ask that shit again. Shit, what other questions do I need to ask right now? Because apparently you got something to hide. Again, if the wife asks her husband, like, so what time did you come home last night? And he's like, why are you always up in my business? Why are you messing with me? I can come home when I feel like, right? If he behaves that way, and she literally just wanted to know, like, what time do you come home? Because I need to kind of know so that I can know if I need to put the kids to bed or not. Like, then she's gonna be like, well, why are you acting like that? Like, what's making you so paranoid right now? Like, so I think that, even in that particular situation, I'm just being like transparent in terms of my thoughts right now. I don't even care. I'm not even thinking about like the fallout or people gonna get mad, or because somebody's always gonna get mad. There's always somebody, every city I go to, there's always somebody who just decided they hate me because they think I'm hating on Umar Johnson. And I just don't give a fuck. I can't massage your fragile emotions. But at the end of the day, if you want to know if I hate him or not, I do not hate him. I think he's brilliant. I think that he's a great speaker. I think that the positive outweighs the negative. I think that he's good at what he does, and I respect that. But anyway, so in that situation, that's yet to me another example of a strategic error. When I see, like, if you see a beef between, like, say, I always use Farrakhan as an example because to me he's kind of the ultimate man in the Black community. He's one of the most legitimate leaders that we have. We don't really have any strong leaders. A lot of these Negroes on TV, they're really owned by white people. So if you see Farrakhan has a beef with somebody, the way they handle it is a lot more strategic and more careful. They don't, make nasty, silly memes about each other on Instagram. Maybe they'll get on a phone call, or maybe they'll discuss it diplomatically. Like I saw Farrakhan really, rail into TD Jakes in a speech, but he spoke in a way that was balanced, in a way where you could almost fact check what he was saying, where there was some measure in what he was saying. It wasn't like he was just going off on somebody, right? And so ultimately, I think we can learn from that. Like, I think all of us, men and women that are trying to do something in the community, we can learn from the OGs and the intelligence and the discipline that they show when it comes to how they resolve their disputes. So I feel that in that situation with Maria, I did not like the fact that Maria made that video, and I told her that, but I also respected her right to speak. And the other thing is, I felt like she asked questions that were legitimate enough questions that they needed to be answered. And then the problem though is that, if you respond in the wrong way, then what only happens is that the questions get amplified, right? It's like, it's like if you get sick and you don't take all your antibiotics, then the bacteria is going to get stronger. So by not squashing it early, you create a firestorm. And I really think that all could have been avoided. I really, I just, even Mark Lamont Hill called me. Mark and I don't even talk that much. I don't know if we're friends or not, but I think Mark is a smart dude. Mark called me and wanted to bring me and Umar together right in the middle of that. And I said, sure, I'll talk to him, get him on the phone. And he said, well, he won't talk to you. I said, well, if he won't talk to me, then how can we fix? There's nothing that can be done if he refuses to talk. So that's, if y'all want to know kind of what the deal is, that's the deal, right? So let's read more of what Umar wrote. By the way, if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, the share button, the like button to let people know about the podcast. If you want to subscribe via text and get text alerts when I go live and stuff like that, you can actually text the word voice to 31996. Just text the word voice to 31996 and I'll let you know about what's going on. Also, if you want to get started on your wealth building journey, at the Black Business School, we have some of the best faculty imaginable. Feel free to come and join us. We can teach you how to start a business. We can teach you how to get your credit right. We can teach you how to invest in the stock market and crypto, everything else. We'll teach you how to buy a franchise, all of that. So if you want to get started for free, go to theblackbusinessschool.com. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. Don't forget the THE. Now let me share with you this more of what Umar wrote on his page, and I'll show you the letter. He actually showed a screenshot of the letter he got from the state, which is really interesting. He says, okay, so he says, sometimes I ask myself, why did I start this campaign? I'm ready to return all the donations and move to Africa. In an effort to give our boys the school they deserve, I've had countless coons consistently harass white people in the power structure until they've decided to strip me of my credentials, arrest my fund, and audit me. Okay, so let's analyze that first sentence right there. Okay, so again, sometimes I ask myself, why did I start this campaign? Well, you know, you started it because you wanted to help black people. Like Nat Turner shouldn't ask himself, like, why did I try to revolt when black people turned me in and when I ended up getting killed? Nat Turner starting that revolt made a difference because it's not so much the revolt itself, it's the fact that you plant the seed in the next person who's going to do a bigger revolt. Like Tupac said, remember when Pac was saying, I don't know if I can change the world, but I believe that I can plant the seed in the person who will eventually change the world. So you got to think in terms of planting seeds, not in terms of getting personal victories. He says, I'm ready to return all the donations and move to Africa. I think a lot of us should try to move to Africa. I think I think that the strength of our people is actually when we're around other black people. Just being in Guyana, which is a black country that is in South America, those part of the Caribbean more so than Africa. It's been really empowering to be around black people who who are running the government. Also black people who are empowered when it comes to education. I meet 15-year-olds who tell me that they're studying 8 hours a day, even during Christmas break, because they want the knowledge that bad. And it's sad to me when I'm seeing these 15-year-old kids showing more ambition than most of the college students I run into who think that it's torture to study 2 hours every couple of days. You know, and it's sad to me because you got so many of these young people, young men and women that can't even read, can't write, can't put together a sentence, can't do math, can't do nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck were you doing with all your time? Like, you got 24 hours in a day like everybody else. What are you doing with your time? Your time is an investment. That is an asset. You don't waste your assets. If you waste your time, then you are wasting your life. And not only are you wasting your life, but you're making yourself easier to victimize. You're making yourself easier to oppress. You're putting yourself in the dungeon and putting the handcuffs on your own hands and on your own feet. When you're choosing not to spend that free time reading and learning, and you're spending all your time watching Love and Hip Hop on TV, you're asking to be unemployed. You're asking to be broke. You're asking to be struggling. You're asking to be lost because a large percentage of your liberation is somewhere inside a book. So why in the fuck is it so hard to get a black kid to open a goddamn book? Seriously, what is wrong with us? It's insanity. It's crazy. So anyway, let me keep going. He says, I'm ready to return all donations and move to Africa. Okay, I already read that part. He said, in an effort to give our boys the school they deserve, I've had countless coons. And just so you know, using the word coon on Facebook can get your page banned. So he should probably, I would suggest don't use the word coon because they got little bots that look for racially sensitive words. And if they find that word, they'll ban you. In fact, YouTube does not, they demonetize all videos with like the word black in it, the word racism in it, all of that shit. Like, so be very, very careful about what you put on social media. Consistently harass white people in the power structure until they've decided to strip me of my credentials, arrest my fund, and audit me. So it almost like he's speaking of it in a way where he's almost saying, it almost sounds like he believes that they've made the decision already. They're bringing him before the board as a mere formality before they do what they're inevitably going to do, which is, according to him, strip me of my credentials, arrest my fund, and audit me. Hundreds of phone calls to my degree-granting institutions, harassing them about my credentials. The same questions over and over again on every radio show, countless social network jokes and campaigns to diminish the credibility of the one man. Okay, so let's back up on that. Okay, so he says hundreds of phone calls to my degree-granting institutions, harassing them about my credentials. I did not make any of those phone calls. I did not encourage anybody to make those phone calls. And here, let me tell you why. Here's the thing. Do I believe that that Umar Johnson has a straight up legit PhD? I wouldn't end up betting my money on it. Not because I don't believe it, but because I haven't really. If you look at, if you sort of profile his character, his personality type, he's not lacking self-confidence in terms of. Some would even say he's a little on the cocky side. I'll just be real with you. if you put your face on Superman's body, or you brag about being the self-proclaimed prince of Pan-Africanism, I am the most sought-after Black scholar in the world, you can have that title. I don't know where I lie in that spectrum. Maybe I'm top 10 or top 20. I don't care. But if you see that, then to me, the first thing a person of that, character would do if you question their degree is they would be like, bam, bitches. They would literally pull up a picture of themselves walking across the stage. They would have their degree. They would take pictures of themselves in front of their degree. They would, put a copy of their dissertation online to show how smart they are. They would do things that kind of show you like, okay, we're going to shut this debate down now so we can get back to business. Like, I'm not going to spend time talking to you about it and answering 1,000,001 questions about it. I'm just going to show you. And then if you have a question and you email me, you're going to get an autoresponder email that's going to say, if you have questions about where I received my credentials, please go to www.kissmyblack.com, and you will see my credentials and pictures that verify everything that I say. So the fact that he didn't do that tells me that there's something going on in the background, most likely. Now, here's where I get off the bus, though. Just because, my gut instincts tell me that there's something going on, that doesn't mean I actually care. I know a lot of people that have a lot of credentials who are really, really stupid. I know a lot of people who have PhDs who are dumb as bricks. I know people who have master's degrees who are horribly miseducated. I know doctors and lawyers, et cetera, who don't do a damn thing for the Black community. So at the end of the day, I didn't really evaluate whether or not I thought Umar Johnson had legit credentials or not. And really, the definition of legit is really up to interpretation, right? My concern was, is he smart? Does he know what he's talking about? I listened to him. I'm like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He's a smart dude. Maybe he didn't get a certain degree. Maybe he got into a fight with his dissertation advisor or something like that, and didn't finish. That's easy to happen. That almost happened to me. I got into a big ass fight with the faculty at Ohio State because they were a bunch of racists, and I almost did not graduate. That's what they do. It's very political. If you rock the boat too much, especially if you're Black, they will kick you out of the program and take your degree and never give it to you. So I know those things happen, and sometimes they happen to the smartest people in the program. So when I was thinking about whether or not Umar's degree was real or not, first of all, I think that's just a wasteful kind of conversation anyway. People ask me about it, I'll be like, I don't know, man. That's what I would say. But really, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, let's talk about something that actually matters, right? So if you ask me about things that concern me about him, whether his degree is legit or not hasn't really been high on my radar. So anyway, so he says, hundreds of phone calls to my degree granting institutions harassing them about my credentials. The same questions over and over again on every radio show, countless social media jokes and campaigns to diminish the credibility. See, that's, again, though, you can't say that he didn't bring some of that on himself. When you kind of behave in certain ways, like that video, you guys saw the video, the Sarah Sunsetti video, where he goes off on this guy that I didn't even know who the dude was. I looked him up, I Googled him because Umar was going off on him. I'm like, who is this person that has drawn such fury out of Umar Johnson, right? Like, it was crazy. That was the craziest video ever. Like, if people are gonna meme something, they're gonna meme that video. Let me see. I got a clip. Let's just, for the sake of just fun reflection, let's just watch some of this. Y'all just tell me if what y'all seeing makes any damn sense. All right. So give me a second here. Hold on. Here we go.
Peace and love, Black family. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. We live and direct from Jacksonville, Florida. Live and direct, Black Florida, Jacksonville. Looking forward to tomorrow, Regency Square Mall Event Planning Center. This will be my first time speaking in the good city of Jacksonville since 2012. It's been 5 long years since Dr. Umar Johnson has spoken here in Jacksonville, Florida. So brothers and sisters, I want to see y'all tomorrow. Doors open up at 4. Program will be from 6 until 9. And then we will sign books until we get up out of there, Black family. So today what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming National Independent Black Parent Association Training Conference. The National Independent Black Parent Association Training Conference. This is very, very important. This is very, very important because we as a people have grown extremely lazy when it comes to agitation and organization. One of our greatest weaknesses in the post-Dr. King era, one of our greatest weaknesses since Dr. King was taken from us, murdered, assassinated on April the 4th, 1968, is that we have not had a serious, sustained, protracted, comprehensive movement for Black elevation. I repeat, since Dr. King's assassination, which will be 50 years in 2 years, almost 50 years, and Black leadership has not given us a sustained, protracted, comprehensive, mass directed program for Black political, economic empowerment and self-determination. The reason you look like a fucking cracker. This ain't Sinetta talking, this me, nigga. I stands my own ground. I ride alone, nigga. I don't need nobody backing me. Fuck you calling niggas on the phone for? You got something to say to me? Why you calling men up on the phone for? Speak your speech, nigga. Speak your speech, nigga. Speak your speech. You built like that? I got some shit for you. Y'all ready for this, family? Y'all ready for this? I'm in Detroit Friday, nigga. I challenge you to a debate in your own fucking city. I'm in Detroit Friday, little nigga. Let's debate. My lecture will be from 6 to 8. And I charge Papa fucking Smurf, I charge Minnie Mouse to a 1-hour debate on who really runs the RBG Black Consciousness Movement, nigga. Fuck a YouTube, fuck a Facebook, you versus me in your town, nigga. That's right. You got the hometown advantage. You got home court, nigga. 3 questions. 3 questions is what we're going to do. SETI, you fucking nut. 3 questions, bitch. Question number 1. What have you done for Black people in the past 15 years? Because your ass keeps screaming about what the fuck you done, but I ain't seen shit but a bunch of plagiarized ass lectures. You ain't no fucking scholar, nigga. You ain't done no scholarship. You taking shit out of niggas' books. I'm published, nigga. Research articles and books. I'm published, nigga. You ain't wrote no books. You ain't done no articles because you's a fucking plagiarist. All your information come from other niggas' books. Talking that shit, Mighty Mouse. You think I ain't studied your little nut ass nigga? Think I ain't studied you? Every time you look in the mirror, you see a cracker, nigga. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a cracker, nigga. So you got to go extra hard because you trying to prove to yourself that you a Black man. I ain't got that problem. I'm melanated, bitch. I'm melanated, bitch. When I look in the mirror, I see a Black man. When you look in the mirror, you see a cracker, nigga. You got that Napoleon thing going on. You got that Napoleon. You see that date, August 21st, bitch. That's when I was born. 821, nigga, bring it. Bring it, motherfucker. Little dirty midget. I called for an elders meeting because shit was getting out of hand. It wasn't about you. I don't go around think about you, you broke ass nigga. Do you even?
Okay, so enough of that. I didn't know. I forgot just how crazy it was until I started watching it again, and it's so I let you like go laugh on your own time. So all right. So first off, you know, with that video, you know, I think there's something going on. Somebody mentioned, they said that, you know, they think that Umar's an intelligent guy, but he might lack emotional intelligence. That's a possibility. You know, I'm not clowning him. I'm not attacking or dissing him, but I just know no matter what I say, it's going to be interpreted as a diss, right? And that's just what it is. But, you know, yeah, I saw that just kind of just as a real bad strategic move. You know, again, I don't think most people I know didn't even know who this other guy was. You know, that's what was interesting. I was like, who is he mad at? He's really mad at somebody. But then also, you know, I think you got to be concerned about anybody who starts a conversation by referring to themselves in the third person. Like if I was to say, well, you know, Dr. Boyce Watkins don't talk to nobody. Dr. Boyce Watkins will be, you know, in Philadelphia next week. Dr. Boyce Watkins is one of the greatest scholars in the world. Dr. Boyce Watkins is, you know, like it would sound weird. I would probably make fun of myself for talking that way. y'all be like, like, wait, are you and Dr. Boyce Watkins both gonna be there? Like, like, it just sounds weird, right? Like talking about yourself in the third person. I think that's just kind of, I would advise against it. How about that? Then, as the debate kind of went on, or as the rant kind of went on, and there's more to it. It's literally 45 minutes long, which is just wow. As the rant kind of went on, he's challenging Sarah Susetti to this debate. And it's interesting because he says the debate is to determine who runs the community, right? Who runs the RBG community, nigga? And so I'm sitting there thinking, if you think about the RBG community, which is a community I respect, and I'm part of the conscious community because I don't want to be unconscious. You're either conscious or you're not conscious. I'm not going to be unconscious. I mean, do we really want the conscious community? First of all, do we want it run by anybody? That's the first thing. Does anybody run it? No, the people run it. We all run it together. That's the first thing. Second thing is, do you want the community run by people who might say, let's figure out who runs the RBG community, nigga, 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 nigga. I mean, where the fuck do we learn how to talk like that? I mean, I understand profanity and I understand the use of the N-word every now and then. I mean, I understand the nuances of it, but have we ever really challenged ourselves on how ridiculous we look saying that we are a conscious people, but we are the first ones to call ourselves niggas. White people don't even call us niggas in public anymore. They're scared to. But we call ourselves niggas first in front of them. Like that's really strange to me. So I thought that was interesting. I don't think that there's any sort of elected official that is in charge where it's like you're the one who people voted for to run the RBG community. You are the person that Black people voted for as the Black leader. I think that's what gets us in trouble with Black leadership in general is male egos. I think that as men, especially young men, I think we're trying to prove ourselves and we get into this male competition. And you get to the point where you openly show that you are not evolved enough to really be an adequate leader for anything or anyone. It goes back to psychology, the concept of what they call Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the top they have what they call self-actualization, where basically you realize it ain't about you, it's bigger than you, and you learn that kind of a type of confidence laced with humility. Like again, I go back to a Farrakhan as an example. He's the best example I can think of because Sharpton and people like that, I don't think they really have it. But if you look at Minister Farrakhan, he's very confident. He's not scared of nobody, but he's incredibly humble. He understands that his purpose and his legacy is far bigger than just one man. And not to put him on that pedestal, but you look at Dr. King. Dr. King was that way as well. And I think that what happens is that young men, when you're young, it is about ego. It is about you because you're trying to be something. You want to be the man. You want to be rich. You want to be whatever. That's why I believe that a man under the age of 35 should never, in most cases, 99% of the time, should never run a church. He should never be elected to political office because there's certain things he has not gotten out of his system. He's not gotten the chance to, maybe sleep with beautiful women, or he's never gotten a chance to have a little bit of money. And so what happens a lot of times when you have a young guy that's running a church? Well, a lot of times if you find out that he's fucking half the congregation, he's taking the money, buying fancy cars and Bentleys and all that. So if you ask my vote, 9 times out of 10, the best person to run an organization is somebody who's had all that. They've had some money, so money's not a big deal for them anymore. They have, they have a great woman next to them, or they sold their oats or whatever it is that they need to do. So that's kind of out of this system a little bit, right? They've had power before, right? They've run, maybe they've been the CEO of a corporation, so they know what it's like to have everybody kiss their ass. So it doesn't become an ego trip for them. They're not thinking, oh, this is about me being the man. It's about achieving the goal that's bigger than all of us, right? So I think that I don't think we have that in the Black community. I think that in the Black community, we have a lot of egomaniacs who think this is some kind of a pissing contest to see which man gets to wear the crown, and everyone else must bow to them. And that's a flawed strategy, because as Black people, you must understand that you will never win as a community when you are leaning on on charismatic leadership that comes down to one figure, where he gets worshipped like Jesus, and we act like none of us can do anything beyond that. So the days where you had the one Jesse Jackson, or the one Al Sharpton, or the one Malcolm X, or the one Martin Luther King, or the one, even with Farrakhan, even the one Farrakhan, even the nation, I think the nation has had conversations about, okay, how do we make sure we remain strong, in the event that the minister does not live for another 50 years, right? So I think that as a community, we need to think in terms of institutions. Institutions involve multiple people, multiple brilliant minds coming together to shape something that can outlive a human being. That whole idea of who runs the RBG community, that's just a problematic statement to make from the beginning. Now, I know some people are going to come in here and say, oh, well, you attacking Umar, it's not like him. And again, I know that's going to happen regardless. And that's another problem we have as a community, is that we have those of us in the community who feel that any sort of objective, honest, critical analysis is hating, is attacking. And that's no different from a kid saying my mama was hating on me because she made me do my homework. I wanted to chill out and eat donuts all day and be lazy, and my mama made me get up and do my homework. Then she had the nerve to make me exercise, right? Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to make you exercise your brain. I'm going to challenge the community with as much respect as possible to say that there are times where you need to learn how to agree to disagree. You need to stop thinking that everybody who disagrees with you is your sworn enemy. That's stupid. That's ignorant. That's going to set us backward, right? So I'm not talking about Umar. I'm talking about all of us, any of us who feel that way, because I know it bruises your ego when people disagree with you. I know that it hurts your feelings when somebody doesn't go in lockstep and do exactly what you told them to do. But at the end of the day, there's going to be times when you have to accept the fact that people may not agree with what you're saying, and that's okay. So anyway, I got a message from Dual Victory. So, okay, Dual is saying I should block a certain person on Periscope. I don't know. I don't know if I can block on Periscope. I'm not even really looking. If I see something, if I see something crazy. In fact, while I do this, on Periscope, let me see. Who should I block? Somebody tell me who I should block, who I should look for. Too many trolls. You all need to take your feelings out of this and listen. Okay. All right. So if anybody thinks I should block somebody, let me know. In fact, I like Dual. I like to actually see if I can make you a moderator on my Periscope like you do on YouTube, so you can block people out. Not because it bothers me. It doesn't bother me. Like, the trolls can talk all day, but because it bothers the people that are trying to have intelligent conversations. So with that said, do me a favor, by the way. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So do me a favor, guys. If I called out the trolls are not necessarily going to speak. So if you see the troll, just kind of try to ignore them if you can, so we can just continue with a focused discussion here. So another thing that I heard in that video, just in that little short clip, was think about this sentence. I want you to think about this sentence very carefully. He said, you ain't no fucking scholar, nigga, right? So think about this. You ain't no fucking scholar, nigga. How scholarly does that sentence sound to you, right? I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with cussing. Y'all know I cuss all the time. And I'm not trying to say that can't be a scholarly sentence in some sort of context, but, I would almost say that sentence didn't sound scholarly because it doesn't sound like it was well thought out, right? You heard Umar talking about Sarah Sunsetti, and he said, you ain't no fucking scholar, nigga. I don't know if that presents evidence of your scholarly capability, right? Like, you could just say, and Umar went on to mention that he's published in journals, he's published books, things like that. And I believe that, again, he's a very smart man. But I really think you got to ask yourself, was there a better way to express your disagreement with him other than making it, us feeling like as black men, we always got to make everything into a street fight? Like, why does everything have to be straight hood all the time? Why do we have to be 40-year-old men? I mean, it'd be different if it was two 20-year-olds, right? Two 20-year-olds beefing. I sounded stupid when I was 22, right? But if it's 40-year-old men, the young guys are looking up at us and they're like, okay, show us what manhood looks like. What should manhood look like? And I'm like, You ain't no fucking scholar, nigga. I'll see you, nigga. I'll find you. I'll come to your territory, nigga. You ain't shit, bitch. Like, what am I really saying to the young black men? And here's the thing. We have a real immaturity problem in the black male community. We have a bitch ass nigga problem in our community. That's the best way to describe it for people who don't quite follow what I'm saying here. We have a problem with a lot of our men never growing the fuck up, never growing up. And it's, I'm talking about everything from the 55-year-old rappers to dudes that can't, that feel like they can't get ahead in the world unless the white man offers them a job or an opportunity. I feel sorry for them. I think that it goes back to our families. We have 72% of all black children being raised in a household without a father in the home. So the daughters are getting very rigid preparation for success. They got a role model they can follow around everywhere, to the grocery store, to the laundromat, to school every morning, that they can hover with and watch TV shows with. They're having constant conversations with their role model. The boys don't have that. The boys are being spoiled by the mother in some cases, maybe abused by the mother, and they don't have anybody to follow around. So the boys might try to do what the girls do. I'm gonna follow mama around and just be like mama. Next thing you know, the boy's wearing high heels and carrying a purse, just like mama used to do, right? Or he's not in that category, but he just doesn't know how to operate and function as a man. He doesn't know what it means to be a grown man. He's watching TV, like, okay, how do I be a man? I'm gonna watch 50 Cent. Do I act like him? Is that what manhood looks like? Or Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Is that manhood? Like what does the rapper Future, is that manhood? Like he's trying to find these ways to understand what it means to be a man, and a lot of these boys are missing the mark. So you got a lot of grown-ass men in the black community who act like teenagers. Like there's a point where as men, we have to have some sort of discipline necessary to be adequate fathers to an entire village that desperately needs our help. Like we need digital dads. Digital dads basically might be people like me, Willie D, others who take it very seriously, that there are young men looking at us, learning what it means to be a man. And there's different perspectives, different ways of approaching it. Willie and I are not on the same, we're not the same person. Like he does things in some ways that are different from me, but we have a lot of things in common too. And the thing is, we're not sitting around talking about, man, fuck that nigga, I'm gonna fuck that nigga up. Like sometimes you get angry, but a lot of times we're also talking about, like he's like, yeah, my son's in school in London now. He just started going to a college in London, and he's starting a business. And I told him that if he wants to get his business going, he's gonna have to raise some capital. Like you have to have conversations like that. Like we need more black men that are doing grown man shit. I applaud Jay-Z for being in that category because Jay-Z is doing grown man shit in public now. Thank God. Jay-Z, number one, he stopped wearing them damn jerseys. Jerseys are nice if you're up to the age of 31. After that, you start wearing grown-up clothes. You wear a suit and tie every now and then. You dress for professionalism. You start doing business deals. Jay-Z is a business man. He does business with people. He's not just out here trying to hopefully make an album where he can somehow compete with people that are half his age. He can still make albums. He still makes money from that, but he's doing business. We need more black men doing business. You ain't got to have money to do business. You got to understand business to do business. It don't matter if you got money and you don't understand business, then you can't really do business. But if you have no money and you understand business, then you can eventually make money because you're doing business, right? So we kind of need black men that are going to just kind of grow up, And so I think that what really hurt my feelings about that whole video episode was I said both of these dudes is like 40, not 25, like 40 years old, like. At what point do we grow up? At what point do we say, I'm not a kid anymore? I don't know. I don't know. Like, at what point do you feel like you gotta be the most thugged out dude in the room? Like, I ain't trying to be a thug. I'm trying to be strong. Of course, every man should want to be strong. I'm strong to protect my family. I'm strong when it comes to my knowledge. I'm strong when it comes to building my business empire. I'm strong when I know that I feed dozens of families every single month with my company. I'm strong because I know mental toughness in terms of sticking to my goals. I'll stand up to anybody. I ain't scared of nothing. Like that to me is what I aim for. I'm not aiming to be no gangster. I ain't trying to be, I'll respect the dudes that are still, in the struggle, that are doing stuff in the street. But at the same time, it's like, if that's not really where you're planning on ending your story, My question is, at what point do you evolve, black man? Like, at what point are you as a man seeking to grow and develop who you are as a human being? I don't know if black male personal development is high on the agenda list for most people. I really don't think that as a community we value personal development of black men. We even have stupid things like I remember. I was really mad when Beyonce, in Destiny's Child made that song saying "I need a soldier." Like, and it almost seemed like, don't, if you ain't street, don't be looking at me, right? And I'm kind of like, well, I'm not street, but I mean, maybe I might look at you too. Like, is something wrong with? I'm not street. I'm education. Like, I was when my friends were in the street, I was in the library. So does that make me less of a man? When everybody else was blowing it, making it rain at the club and spending that money like there was no tomorrow, I was trying to make an investment to build a business. Does that make me less of a man? Is that a problem? And at the end of the day, it's all stupid. It's all fucking this fabricated bullshit that they feed you in the media, telling you as a black man that you ain't nothing but a thug, you ain't nothing but a criminal, you ain't nothing but a gangster, you ain't nothing but a hood rat type dude. You're supposed to be up in the trap. Some of y'all get out of the trap, but stay in the trap because you want to stay trapped mental. A book will liberate you unlike anything that you've ever experienced in your life. But some of us, not all of us, some of us choose to remain in the trap. So stop acting like the white man's asking you to stay in the trap. You're choosing to be in the trap. You built the trap. You control the keys to that cage that enslaved you half the damn time, but you don't even know it. Anyway, and of course, just so you know, in case you just came in, we're talking about this thing Umar Johnson put up about how he says the state is trying to take his license for various reasons. I don't know if they're going to take his license or not. I hope that they don't. I don't think he deserves that, at least based on what I know. I'd be curious to know if there was anything else to it. I think that if you read his letter, and I'll put this back up on the screen so you guys can see it, it almost sounds like he's sort of saying, look at what they're doing to me, and it's y'all's fault. The Coons did it. When he raised the $250,000 and said black people were trifling because they only gave him $250,000. Again, it could have probably been said a little more diplomatically. You can challenge people without necessarily just sort of dogging everybody. But then again, I can't be too critical on that because I've probably done that sometimes too. I've probably been so frustrated at times with the community that it sounds like I was bashing black people. And then I would listen to myself and I say, boys, you're bashing black people. Stop doing it. So anyway, let me read more of what Umar wrote on his page here about the alleged situation, whatever it is. He says, okay, so he says, hundreds of phone calls to my degree granting institutions, harassing them about my credentials, the same questions over and over again on every radio show, countless social network jokes and campaigns to diminish the credibility of the one man black parents can count on to assist for free with saving their children from the mental health and miseducation system. See, that's another kind of statement that gets you in trouble. You can't say you're the only man out here doing this. I talk to a ton of black educators and community activists who are doing the damn thing. I talked to a woman online. She's actually the one, Cheryl. Her name's Cheryl. I don't have her last name in front of me, but Cheryl is the one who sent me. She said, "Did you see what's going on with Umar?" And I read up on it. I said, "Well, let me see more because I don't want to talk about it if I haven't done my homework on it." And Cheryl said, she said, "I went to Stanford and I opened an Afrocentric school for black children. I'm gonna have her on my podcast so people can learn from her." And she said that I know for a fact it doesn't cost no $750,000, no $1 million, no $2 million to open a school. She said we opened our school for far less by being efficient with our resources and using some teamwork. So to kind of sort of parade yourself as the one man who is doing this, the one man black parents can count on, that's a little bit overly self-congratulatory. You're going a little deep in terms of saying you're the one man. Like, no, like there's millions of us that are fighting for black people. It's not one man. I can't say, well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm the one man teaching black people financial literacy. No, I'm not the one man doing it. There's a lot of people doing it. I just happen to have a platform to do it. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are teaching financial literacy. There's a lot of people that are pushing black people to do better. There's a lot of people that are pushing black people to be educated. There is no such thing as one man or one woman. And in fact, if you have a whole movement that is contingent upon one man or one woman, then, that movement is going to die because human beings die. They die every day. So anyway, let me keep going. So he says, what the credibility of the one man who parents can count on to assist for free with saving their children from the mental health and miseducation systems. This is the thanks I get for helping to save a generation of black boys. Okay, let me keep going. I don't have anything to say about that. On top of all the betrayals I've had, my own father joined in on the fun. Now, I don't know about that. I didn't know it's, I mean, you know, again, if people that are close to you are saying these things about you or to you or challenging you or asking you to slow down, maybe, I don't know the relationship between Umar and his dad. That might explain a lot, you know, if he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, if his father wasn't around to teach him certain things. I think that would explain a lot, to be real with you. Like, if I'll tell you the truth, you know, my dad, my biological father did not raise me. He disappeared. He was 15 when he got my mother pregnant. And he did not really participate in raising me. His name is Boyce, too, actually. And I've met him twice. But I was fortunate in the sense that another man named Larry stepped in and he did the job that my father wasn't able to do or chose not to do or whatever it was. And basically, there, you know, having my father there has made a huge difference in a lot of different areas, mainly because he's the one who's told me when I was making a dumbass mistake. He's the one that would tell me, that would warn me about the consequences of certain choices. Like when I went to Syracuse, y'all know they have all this Me Too stuff going on now where everybody's now claiming they were groped and harassed 30 years ago and people acting like it's true just because somebody said it. Well, when I went to Syracuse University, my father, the first thing he said, when you go teach at Syracuse, don't you fuck nothing on that campus. That's exactly what he said. And I said, okay, absolutely. And I didn't. The whole time I was there, I did not date any other faculty members. I did not date a student, especially not a student, none of that. Because I knew as a black man, they would string your ass up if something like that happened. In fact, there was a faculty member who got caught up with a student. And I didn't agree with what he did. I thought it was messed up. And she filed sexual misconduct charges against him months after their relationship had ended. And I remember thinking like about what my father had told me. If I had made a video like the one that Umar made about Sarah Susetti, my father would have said, "What the fuck are you doing? You sound stupid. You sound crazy right now. Like, don't do that." You know, if I go on TV and I say something that embarrasses the community or disparages the community or is beneath the standard that he expects me to uphold as, you know, as a Watkins family member, he would get on the phone with me and check me. And that's what a father does. See that, all y'all women talking about you don't need no man, fuck that shit. Stop that right now. Seriously, kill that shit. It's stupid. You sound crazy. You sound as dumb as I would sound if I said, well, my daughter don't need her mama. I can teach her how to wear a tampon and how to do her hair and all that. No, she needs her mother. She needs her mother. So the same thing is true with a father. A father figure, a male role model, what a male role model does for every mammal in the animal kingdom, gorillas, elephants, whales, whatever, what the male role model does is the male role model is the one who checks you when you do something stupid. The male role model is the one who tells you to slow your roll, youngster, when you're about to go out and ride on somebody because you're mad because they killed your homeboy. Jim Brown did that for the gang members in LA. They would call him and be like, I'm gonna go kill him now, man, because he did da-da-da. And he would be like, look, let's talk about it. Let's get together and talk about it. He basically gets you to stand down. That's what a male role model is supposed to do. My father did that. When I was 27 years old, I had something happen with a girl that made me so furious. I wanted to go over and just kick this guy's ass. And my father was the one who shut me down. You know, so ultimately, you know, and mothers can't do it the same way. Mamas can't, a son ain't gonna really listen to his mama the same way. When he gets about 13 and he has testosterone in his body, he's taller than you, he's got a deep voice, he's going through things that you don't understand and has feelings that you can't connect to because you just want to keep him safe and you want to keep him under your arm and in the house. No, don't go out there and fight, you're gonna get hurt, right? He's feeling like rage. He's feeling like, no, I need to go out here, mama, and prove myself, because he's dealing with a different reality that you don't understand. So anybody who's out here talking about you don't need no man, these white liberals that tell black people they don't need fathers in the house, I hate that. It drives me insane because they're telling you a big old lie. If you want to know why your community's crumbling, it's because your families are breaking down. That's why your community isn't getting ahead. That's just the honest to God truth. That's black people are not getting ahead. When our families start securing themselves again, we will start to rise slowly up the ladder, economically, socially, psychologically, politically, and otherwise. That's just the honest God truth. So anyway, let me keep going. He says black parents can, let's see, the one man black parents can count on to assist for free with saving their children from the mental health and miseducation systems, et cetera, et cetera. On top of the betrayals, I've had my own father join in on the fun. This Kwanzaa tour will be my farewell conscious community tour for a while. So it sounds like he says he's giving up. I hope he doesn't give up. He shouldn't give up. My advice to Umar, if we were friends and we were talking, I would say, you're not really here for the people who hate you. The people who hate you will never help you pay your bills. The people who hate you will never be the ones who support your shows. They will never be the ones who have your back. They will never be the ones who help you succeed. You can't cater to the people who hate you. You must cater to the people who love you. The people who love you are the ones that you're here for, not the people who hate you. I know that there's a lot of people who hate me. I get people accusing me of all kinds of stuff that I don't think is true, that really bothers me, and I don't like it. And sometimes I want to talk about it. But what I realize is that I don't need to talk about it that much, because if I'm spending all my time catering to the people who hate me, I am not properly serving the people who love me. I know if you are one of the people who love me, if you want to mention it, feel free to mention it. I could use some self-esteem right at this moment, or some love right now, because I already know I'm gonna get some hate for making this video. But the people who love me, that's the fuel I use to stay focused. When I hear the negativity coming in, the people who love you are the ones that you're here for. So I'm here to serve them. And so when I catch myself talking too much about the haters, I realize, wait a minute, this person who they don't even understand the haters. They're like, well, why would somebody hate you? Well, I don't even get it. It makes me feel small. I realize, wait a minute, no. I need to talk about something constructive that's going to benefit you, because if you see me sitting over here being bitter and petty and nasty and mad and always complaining, then eventually you're going to get bored with me and want to go do something else. So you're going to feel that I'm less effective when it comes to helping you. So at the end of the day, anybody who's building a business, anybody who's building anything that you're trying to do, whether you're trying to build a company, an organization, a movement, a political ideology, just know we live in a world that is deeply divided. You're never going to make everybody happy. One key to failure is to try to please everybody. Focus on the people who love you and serve them to the best of your ability. And if you do that, then you will probably be successful. Don't worry about the people who don't like you. So my advice to Umar, man to man, is keep going, man. Don't let them kill your tour. You probably need a tour even more now, because this legal shit's probably gonna be expensive, and you got people that will buy a ticket for you to see you. You got people that will support you. So keep going. Don't let this stop you. So it says, let me see. So he says the Kwanzaa tour will be my farewell conscious community tour for a while. I'm taking a break from the social network as well. I need to take care of me now. I will keep pushing for the school until my detractors successfully kill that campaign also. I just don't like that. It sounds so defeatist. Like, what do you mean they're going to kill that campaign also? They can only kill you if you allow them to. Whether we succeed or fail, just know that my intentions were honorable. I tried my best, and this is another victory for the mentally enslaved. I'm really worried about that note, because it damn near almost sounds like borderline, almost like a suicide note or something. If it's not real suicide, it sounds like professional suicide or something. And honestly, given what I've seen in media, from Umar, in terms of the videos and the emotional volatility, it almost makes me wonder if he's having an episode, if he's kind of feeling just really down and defeated right now. And so, I just want to say, like, brother, I wish you well. Like, I want to encourage you to stand up, keep going. If you want to know my verdict on Umar Johnson, here's the thing. I understand that there are people that are going to have a problem with him because of his position on homosexuality. I don't agree with everything he says in that area. Although I do think that there is a gay agenda. I think that they want to feminize black boys. I got into an argument with a Princeton professor. I forgot her name, Amani something. And because she said that I will no longer support you because you gave money to Umar Johnson School. And I told her to fuck off, in no certain terms. I said, if you're going to not become friends with me or remain friends with me because I support Umar School, then that tells me that you're not a person that I want to be around anyway, which says that you've probably been caught up in that liberal brainwashing. The liberals now have created this really unhealthy, I would dare say un-American, highly contentious, political environment in which we've decided that anybody who doesn't agree with you, you need to unfriend them on Facebook. You should never talk to them again. You should hate their guts. You should try to destroy them. You should hate their mama. You should hate anybody associated with them. And that's just stupid. That's ignorant. I will never be on board with that. I think it's tacky and trifling. So with Umar, I think he's going to always have the opposition from either LGBT people or people that support them, which is fine. Actually, I support the LGBT community. I don't believe in the gay agenda. I'm not in lockstep with everything they say. But because they've divided the landscape so much, they've created an environment where if you disagree with us a little bit, then we're going to make you into the enemy. That's a type of bullying. Some of them, unfortunately, are trying to bully other people into believing everything that they say and going along with everything that they tell them to believe. Also, here's the other fundamental question that you got to ask yourself about Umar Johnson. If you are on the fence or whatever it is, first of all, you don't have to make a choice. I don't want you to make a choice. Like, I don't want you to feel like, oh, if I support Umar, I'm not supporting Boyce or whatever. Like, I don't know. A big part of me supports Umar a lot, actually. I think the question to ask yourself about Umar or anybody is not whether or not he got the appropriate degree. I think the question I ask myself is he qualified or not? Is he qualified? And I believe he's deeply qualified to do what he does. I think he just needs some coaching around him. He needs some mentor. He needs a mentor he trusts. Trust seems to be a challenge for him. So he needs somebody that he trusts in his corner that can say, hey, man, slow your roll, dude. Like, don't do that. Don't make that video, or don't focus on that. Let's focus on this. Or no, I know you don't want to have that meeting, but you need to go ahead and meet with that person, or go ahead and do this thing because it's best for the community. Like, I think you need somebody like that in your corner, because if you don't, then ego can be a big deal. Like, y'all don't know what it's like. It's a real mind fuck when you go to different cities all around the world and everybody wants to kiss your ass. Everybody wants to buy you free food. Everybody's honored to talk to you. Everybody wants your autograph. It can really get to your ego. And it comes with with temptations when it comes to women and money and everything else. And you got to find a way to be centered in the middle of all that, or you'll lose your damn mind. So I think Umar's qualified. I think at the end of the day, I think maybe Kendrick Lamar's advice might be helpful. Like, when Kendrick says, sit down, be humble, right? So I think that might be in order. But then again, that's on him. And so that's just my conclusion. I think that, decide within yourselves what you think. Is he qualified? Is he not? Does the good outweigh the bad? Can I take the good stuff he does and keep that, or let go of the bad stuff? How much do I trust what he's trying to do? Remember also, Umar ain't the only Black person in America trying to build a school. There's a whole lot of schools out here you can support. Don't think that if his school does not get built, that doesn't mean that a school can't be built. There are, and that's because if we think that way, then that's an insult to all the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Black people out here that are building schools, that are trying to educate Black children. And we can't do it by ourselves. We got to do it as a community. All of us have to be doing this. So I think that just sort of shifting how we think about it could lead to an outcome that is that lets Umar have his space. He's going to have his loyal supporters. He's going to be doing his thing, giving his speeches, and then it allows the rest of us to understand our role in contributing to the process. And I don't think it has to be either a complete love or hate thing with Umar. I think you can say, okay, I like this and this and this, but I don't like that and that and that. And I think that's more of a common sense approach. So don't do what the liberals are trying to teach you to do and the conservatives are teaching you to do. They're teaching you to become gang affiliated, like you either got to love or hate somebody, or somebody's either your best friend or your worst enemy. That leads to huge mistakes on both ends. Number one, sometimes your enemy might do something that actually helps you, or may do something that's actually good. And you, because you decided in advance that you hate that person or you hate that group, that you can't even receive anything good or any common ground because you're so determined to hold on to this hatred and this animosity. Then two, what it does is it causes you to trust the wrong people. You see, you get in this mindset where it's like conservatives bad, liberals good, and then you get these liberals who are fucking you silently, like the uncle that you let in the house every Christmas, and they're sneaking up to your daughter's room and molesting your daughter because you're protecting your daughter from all of the little boys at school and all the men down the street, but you're not protecting her from the enemy she has right there in her own family. So a lot of us, with Black people, are being politically molested by liberals and by Democrats because we're afraid of being raped by the Republicans. The Republicans, we were like, oh, they're a bunch of rapists. We're going to avoid the rapists, but you're not avoiding the child molesters. So at the end of the day, Black people, we just have to be a little more intelligent about this. I think that the Umar analysis kind of applies to everything. Just be balanced. Use your damn brain. Like, let's stop being so emotional sometimes. But then again, I can't talk because I was pretty emotional just now. So I'm going to shut it down. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for putting up with my my hour and a half of hopefully it's either insightful perspective or it's a bunch of rambling. Depending on how you look at it, I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Do me a favor, if you're on social media, Facebook, stuff like that, please go ahead and slam the button a few times and give us some hearts and likes and shares and all that, so that Facebook will put us higher in the algorithm. If you're on YouTube or anywhere else, make sure you subscribe. If there's a subscribe button or a follow button, please hit one of those buttons. Also, we're going to talk a little bit later about the Bitcoin crypto situation and what's going on with crypto. It's getting real interesting right now. A lot of opportunities, but a lot of chaos. And also, if you want to get started on your wealth building journey and you haven't done it yet, you can get started in the Black Business School absolutely free. Just go to theblackbusinessschool.com. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. Somebody please type it in so that other people can see it. Don't forget the THE, theblackbusinessschool.com. Because at the end of the day, after we get done doing all this talking, we got to actually do some building. So let's settle it all down, refocus, and get to building. And I bet you ass in a generation or two, Black people will rise in ways that we can't even imagine. So take care, everybody. I love you. It was awesome. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.